Hello and welcome back on my Instagram account, Maria Ducuţă. I invite you to hit subscribe on my YouTube channel, Maria Ducuţă, and you can also follow me on Facebook on the official Facebook page. Today I want to talk about love patterns and how to fix a broken love pattern, because there is so much confusion when you get in a new relationship or when you just want to heal your present relationship. And these love patterns are basically preventing you from ever reaching a point of balance and a point of true understanding of what exactly is the issue, the main cause leading to the dysfunctionality that you are experiencing at this point. Now, to start with a basic definition, a love pattern is basically the way in which you receive, namely give love. We all have these love patterns in the sense that for certain people, a specific way of showing affection towards other people, it's normal. And a love pattern, it's not only about the way in which you love, the way in which you show affection. It's basically concerning the way in which you also receive affection, because there are broken love patterns that actually prevent me from ever receiving love. I can be completely in love with someone, but I can be so damaged from an emotional point of view that I cannot receive any kind of affection from that person. And whenever someone gets closer to me, I shut it down just to prevent that person from seeing who I am, from reaching my vulnerabilities. A love pattern is basically an emotional behavior that you display towards your children, towards your parents, towards a potential partner. It's a sort of behavior that gets triggered every time you need to express this kind of love. Because a love pattern, it's composed of, firstly, the feeling, the emotion, the love that you feel for that person, and secondly, the way in which you manifest this emotion. And it is not the same thing loving someone and showing someone that you love him or her. These are two different things, and one thing does not involve the other in many situations. A broken love pattern, it's, as its name already states, it's a situation where I have no control over the way in which I express my feelings, and also I have no control over the way in which I relate myself from an emotional point of view to other people. So basically, if I have a fear of abandonment, if I have been betrayed in my previous relationships, in the present moment, my love pattern will be the defensiveness mode. I will be extremely defensive towards anyone who, yes, could offer me love, but at the same time, it's a potential danger to my present emotional stability, because the scenario that I have been through in my previous relationships could happen even now. So whenever I get to be defensive from an emotional point of view, I'm like closed, I'm like this, and I say, I don't want to open myself to other people. I don't want to be discovered by other people from an emotional point of view. Why? Because there is this risk to be hurt again. So the first broken love pattern that we get to discuss, it's defensiveness. It's basically being emotionally shut down. Yes, you do feel things. Yes, you do feel fear. Yes, you do feel love. Yes, you experiment certain emotions, but these emotions do not get to be expressed accordingly. They do not get to be involved in your activities, and they don't get to the other person. So there could be a huge amount of repressed emotions, and you just don't, and you choose not to show them off, because the answer to these emotions could be rejection. And so you prefer to be emotionally defensive as a mechanism to protect you from any kind of traumatic behavior that has put you through difficult times before. The second broken love pattern that we get to experience, it's reversed gender roles in a relationship. And why do I call it like this? Well, because if I am a woman in a relationship with a man or vice versa, I could be more masculine than feminine, or more feminine than masculine. So I could take the other person's role and perform it in our relationship as a way to be sure that we do not fall apart. So whenever a woman is trying to be the man in a relationship, or the man it's the woman in the relationship, we have a broken love pattern, because the feminine and the masculine energy are not going in the right direction. It's always a conflict of power, and it's always about who wins or who is right. And then love is the last thing I get to experience in that relationship, because I am more concerned of proving to the other person that I am the dynamic factor when we talk about masculine energy, and that I am someone who always needs to receive rather than doing something when I am the feminine energy. The third broken love pattern, it's seeking constant validation. I may enter relationships just to be told that I am worthy of other people's attention. I may enter relationships just because I feel I'm not enough, just because I feel that someone has to alleviate and to take away the pain of my previous relationships, and this someone is responsible for everything that I have been through. So I feel the need of empowering this person to be my not only my better half, but in some way the only element of stability that I have in my life, in my present life right now. Seeking constant validation means to always doubt yourself unless the other person validates you, your opinions, the way you look, the way you feel, everything. And it's a constant torment of being approved. And what is the worst thing is that nothing ever of whatever you do, it's enough for you. It may be enough for your partner, but for you it's never enough. Because the second this validation disappears, you disappear. Your emotional identity, it's basically centered around this form of validation. So relationships are somehow a form of drugs to you. You are high on validation. You are basically searching for partners who can offer you this validation rather than searching for partners who can offer you love. Because love and validation can be very different at times. And yes, love involves validation, but validation itself does not involve love always. So a broken love pattern that I get to manifest in my relationships could be the fact that I seek constant validation, and I am basically in that relationship only to get that form of validation. And yes, I choose wrong partners, I choose wrong people because they are some sources of validation and nothing else. Another broken love pattern could be the victim. The victim is someone that it's always searching for an abuser. And this broken love pattern is centered around childhood traumas It's centered around being rejected as a child, not receiving affection, not being shown that you matter to your parents, that your needs are listened to. And the victim, it's always identifying the worst abusers. And these abusers have the role of perpetuating an ingrown trauma that basically enhances the victim to perform the role continuously. Of course, this means a lot of hurt in your relationships, and you are always feeling drowned and you don't know what to do with yourself, but at the same time you feel that this is the only role that you could ever perform. Another broken love pattern could be one-way compatibility. What does it mean, one-way compatibility? It means that I am compatible with the other person, but he or she is not compatible with me. It means that the other person can fulfill my emotional needs, but I cannot fulfill his or her emotional needs. And one-way compatibility, it's a very problematic issue when we talk about love patterns, because I can enter relationships and I can say, this person is enough for me. I don't necessarily care if I am enough for the other person. And when the other is telling me, well, I'm not happy here, I can tell him, well, I am happy. I'm offering everything to you, and I am happy with what you are offering me. So what is the problem in here? One-way compatibility is dangerous because it somehow makes me feel separated from the other person's needs. I feel that if I get what I want in the relationship, well, that's enough. And I'm happy with that thing. And I don't want something else because I've already got everything. Another broken love pattern, it's I love to hate you. I love to hate you means an incredibly intense emotional state where I experience extreme unhappiness and extreme pleasure. It's somehow a sort of addictive love that makes me want that other person, and I basically feel that we have a relationship only when I get triggered by that person. I not only encourage his or her abusive behavior, but I feel that I live for that thing. I feel that this is what keeps our relationship going. And I somehow start conflicts just to get a reaction from that person's side. It's incredibly unhealthy, but it's related to a very deep trauma of being rejected, and hence I am constantly seeking attention. I get to fight with the other person just to experience some sort of connection. But of course, this is not a real connection. This is something toxic that I'm experiencing. And so I hate the other person, but in such a way that allows me to further deepen our issues and to take our connection to a level where it's already addictive. I try to break this pattern, but I cannot, because the adrenaline I'm feeling when we fight, it's my favorite drug. Broken love patterns are not impossible to fix. It is so important to acknowledge them because they can be extremely problematic at a young age. But when you are already an adult, when you are already a grown-up, broken love patterns could mean dysfunctional family, could mean divorcing your spouse because you just cannot reach a settlement, could mean jumping into relationships just for the sake of it without having any idea why you are doing it. And it could also mean always wanting unavailable partners, people that cannot feed you from an emotional or spiritual point of view, but you just get to experience such an intense feeling because of the broken love pattern that you go for it over and over again. So the first step to fix a broken love pattern is to stop reenacting it, of course. You cannot heal a broken love pattern while being in a relationship where you are experiencing this broken love pattern. So you cannot say, yes, right now I am actually healing my validation need, my need for validation, by being with someone that whose validation is the most important thing in my life. No, I need to stay away from that thing that triggers me, at least for some time. And you can ask me, well, does this mean a breakup? No, it doesn't necessarily mean a breakup. It just means that you stop doing that thing that hurts you over and over again. And when I say this, it could mean that you stop fighting with your partner. You stop trying to find a scapegoat in your relationship. You stop trying to judge yourself if you are the problem, because a broken love pattern could be a lack of self-love. I don't love myself at all. I don't know who I am. So I am desperately trying to be in a relationship with someone who can actually tell me, who am I? What am I here for? What am I doing with my life? And this always leads to emotional dependency. And I get to depend on whoever is willing to tell me who I am. It's just the fact that that specific person could never know who I am if I don't know it. So could only assume who I am by my emotional needs, by my behavior, but it could never be the correct assumption, because I could never say that anyone except myself truly knows who I am. This is why I'm here doing this lifetime, to find out who I am. So the first thing to fix a broken love pattern is to acknowledge it, of course, and to stop doing it, or to just stop focusing on it and just stop giving it all my attention and all of my energy. Because when I do this, I am only enhancing it, and then it's not only a broken love pattern. It's actually my way of reacting. So I could take a broken love pattern and to make it into one of my personality traits. I could take, for example, the lack of self-love or the need for validation, which is a broken love pattern, and I could take this and manifest it into my personality outside love area. And this is why love patterns are so important, because it is not only about those around us with whom we interact. It is about what I choose to manifest in my daily life, and basically how I will experiment life. So the first step is to stop doing it, at least for a short period of time. The second step to fix a broken love pattern is to find emotional and spiritual healing. What does this mean? Well, this could mean anything from going to therapy, reading meditations, praying, finding a counselor, talking to your parents, doing sports, dancing, learning a new activity. But it could mean anything that could be a supportive and balancing element for you, that you can hang on to this process of emotional rehabilitation. Because emotional rehabilitation means to not only break a broken love pattern, but it also means to enhance other patterns, to build a new identity, to have new habits, and basically you let other people teach you how to behave with yourself, and also you teach yourself how to behave in relationships without experiencing the hurt that you have previously experienced before. Because if you are in a relationship or if you are single and you are hurt over and over again, you have to stop for a second and to ask yourself, what is it, this thing that makes life so hard? Life shouldn't be hard in a way that makes it unbearable. It should be hard in the sense that, yes, I deal with new challenges every day. But it shouldn't be a movie with Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible, where I am fighting for my dearest life every second of the day and I don't know where I'm heading to. This is why broken love patterns are so dangerous, because they take away the joy of my life. They take away the possibility of experiencing life outside my love life. There are people who don't even consider that their life is worth living if they don't have a partner, if they haven't found love yet, if they are not married, if they are married to the wrong person. And working on broken love patterns, it's fundamentally important because it allows me to finally know where I am standing. And a broken love pattern, it's actually my mirror. I look into this mirror and what do I see? Well, I see exactly which are my weak points and, most importantly, what triggers me to react in the way in which I do. And those triggers are the main key to my healing, because I know where to start from. Of course, I need to be honest with myself and to admit that, yes, there is a problem. But honesty, it's the best policy always, because it's the shortest way towards my goal, and it's also a way in which I can prevent suffering. Because this, if there is one thing that I can learn from my suffering, it's not to repeat it. Otherwise, it's useless. So after I stop feeding that broken love pattern with my attention, my affection, and my constant engagement into it, the second step would be to, as I've said, find other patterns, establish now new traditions, new behaviors. Yes, it will be incredibly difficult, and you will say, if I suffer from a broken love pattern, this means that I am incredibly hurt. You are right, you are incredibly hurt, but this form of hurt, it's an energy that you have to channel into some other part. And this could be, as I've said, any kind of therapy, any kind of sport. It could be an active engagement with other people's lives. This could be even volunteering. It is not about getting a financial reward, but it could be about finding emotional stability. So after I have observed myself and I've stopped from doing whatever is feeding my broken love pattern, after I am sure that in my life there are others, there are other people, there are other activities, there is a chance, a window that has been opened towards a new perspective. The third step would be to work separately on my emotional wounds. I have always been incredibly focused on emotional wounds, because you cannot talk about healing anything if you still have an open wound. Basically, if someone is hurt right now and has an open wound, if someone has been in an accident, you will take that person to the hospital. You won't let it bleed until it dies, right? Until he dies or she dies. So it's the same thing with emotional wounds. An emotional wound, it's something that it's incredibly deep, that it's rooted into my subconscious mind, that it's rooted into my emotional system. And basically, it gets to manifest each and every time I encounter a situation similar to that situation in which I've been hurt. So I get to be triggered by unimportant things, but to me they are super important, because they are the source of my hurt. And there, in my wound, I can find a way to free myself from it if I work with my emotional wounds. And for each and every emotional wound, I have to find a certain way to bring it to the surface, to clean it, to heal it, and then to just work from that place of wisdom that I have just recently gained from healing that emotional wound and integrate it into my personal life right now. Moreover, fixing a broken love pattern means focusing on self-love. Focusing with acceptance and with faith on self-love, because if you are impatient of finding a way to love yourself, you will never reach it. And not only you will never reach it, but you will punish yourself to never be able to know where you stand and to never be fulfilled with what you do. So yes, I can totally heal a broken love pattern if I learn how to love myself in such a way that I don't hurt myself and I don't hurt other people either. When you talk about self-love, you don't talk only about going to the spa or pampering yourself or acknowledging your inner or outer beauty. You talk about being constantly engaged with all your thoughts, all your emotions, and with being perfectly at peace with whatever version you are right now. You know that you cannot achieve perfection, but you are happy with who you are, and you know that you are heading towards something that brings you balance. Because perfection can be a concept incredibly dangerous. Perfection is not balance. Balance is something imperfect. It's something not working at times, but it is that something that can be maintained through constant work in my life. Fixing a broken love pattern requires also support from other people. If I am emotionally defensive and I say I will do this on my own without other people's help, yes, inner work, it's something incredibly solitary that you are doing for yourself. But inner work must involve other people, because you as a soul need to be connected to other souls in order to perform this soul work. So yes, no one can do your work instead of yourself, but you need to have different sources of joy, of compassion in your life, so that you enhance your emotional dimension and you get to live a healthy emotional life. Fixing a broken love pattern, it's clearly something that I need to know. It won't be done in a day. Maybe it won't be done in a week or in a year. Maybe it will take me a lot of time and a lot of energy. And in many ways, if I can just observe myself when I am reenacting that broken love pattern, I can instantly heal it, because only through my mere observation of that phenomenon, I get to prevent myself from hurting me over and over again. This was the live of today. I invite you to hit subscribe to my YouTube channel, Maria Ducuţă, and I'm also welcoming you on my Facebook page, Maria Ducuţă. See you next time.